Hello and welcome to KJ's Kitchen. I am KJ. I am 15 years, a master level fitness trainer, a fitness nutrition specialist, and most important to me, I'm a happy mom serving up healthy meals from my kitchen to yours every Wednesday on Facebook on the Get KJ Fit fan page at 12 o'clock Eastern. Of course, today I'm a little late because that's life. So thank you for joining me, even though I am a little delayed. Today, I am bringing you keto white sandwich bread. Now, am I keto? No. A lot of people are. I really, as a trainer and a nutrition specialist, I recommend people using keto as a tool, as a jump starter, especially women. Maybe you go as far as 2 weeks to give your body a little kickstart, and then you would maybe want to slowly move into a more balanced lifestyle. Keto is not a sustainable lifestyle, and if you are female, it really can cause a lot of havoc on your metabolic hormones. So say you really stick to it for a good 6 months. By the time you start eating more sustainable, your metabolic hormones have completely been wonked out, and you can easily gain back a lot of fat and then have struggles with your hormone levels. So that being said, be mindful. Do I eat a keto bread? Yes. Well, if I'm not keto, why would I eat a keto bread? Well, number one, I really highly recommend that people not over glutenize. This is not even a word, is it? Don't go so far into gluten that you're going to tear a hole through your gut. Next thing you know, you got IBS. Next thing you know, you can barely digest things. And if you're a child, it's easy to get allergies once you've cut through that gut lining. And now everything's getting into your bloodstream. So gluten cuts away at the gut. So I love this keto bread. Number one, because there's no grain at all. Not even oats. Okay. I love this because it's high protein. One slice of bread is giving me 4 extra grams of protein. I love this bread because it's low calorie. 82 slices for a half-inch slice of bread, 82 calories. So maybe higher calorie than a 60 calorie slice of bread, because that's out there, white bread. But usually you're doing 2 slices. I'm teaching you to eat open-faced sandwiches, which you're gonna see today. So here's the deal with bread in general. It takes time, right? So this bread takes no time to prepare. It takes time in the oven, but it's a lot easier than kneading a dough and then waiting an hour for it to rise, maybe kneading it again, maybe waiting another hour, and then putting it in the oven for the hour. So the time this takes is all in the oven. So I'm gonna show you very quickly. You'll use a food processor. It'll be done in a jiffy. So let's start and let's talk about the flour we're using. Almond flour, 1 cup. Now I know a lot of breads out there have, where is the cup? Do I have a cup? I'm just gonna go to 2 halfies because that's what I got available. A lot of breads on the, out there, a lot of when you're doing keto, uses a lot of almond flour. A lot of baked goods do. So I love, this is only 1 cup. And literally I'm throwing it into my food processor. This is gonna do all the work for me. Super easy peasy. 1 cup almond flour. Now this one is blanched almond flour. I grabbed it at Walmart. You could do the super fine. I've only made this recipe with regular blanched almond flour. So if you are using super fine and you come up with a different quality product at the end, talk to me and let me know. Hi, I see Ann and Amy are with me. Hey girls. Next, we're gonna talk about coconut flour. Now coconut flour is, when you're talking about gluten-free flours, usually the minor portion of a gluten-free blend because it really soaks up the liquid. I mean, you can't use all coconut flour or you will be so dry. You have to use so much liquid. We're doing a 1/4 cup of coconut flour. This is Bob's Red Mill coconut flour. I just keep it in my little bin here. And if you've ever made bread at home or if you've ever looked at bread recipes, there's always sugar involved or honey, usually honey in the homemade recipes I've made. So we're today using a sugar alternative called erythritol. This is sugar alcohols. Now, number one, there's no net carbs in here. Okay, 4 carbs total, 4 grams erythritol, which is non-digestible sugar fiber. So 0 net carbs. Okay, how cool is that? Now, what I like about erythritol, different than things like monk fruit, is it doesn't have a big aftertaste because it's really sugar. So it's a sugar alcohol. So we're gonna go with 1.5 tablespoons. So that's 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon, and 1/2 teaspoon to break it down. Because it's kind of hard to eyeball what a 1/2 tablespoon looks like here. So we're gonna go with 1 tablespoon, making sure it's not rounded. 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon, and then 1/2 teaspoon. Because why? Because there are 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, right? Okay, here we go. Did the math for you if you didn't know it. Awesome. Next step, xanthan gum. Well, I'm pretty new to xanthan gum, especially since doing a lot of gluten-free baking. And this is gonna keep it binded. It's gonna help bind it and give it a texture more like bread. Whew, not a bad idea, right? Okay, 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. This one is Carrington Farms. I got that at Walmart as well, right there in the gluten-free baking, or actually in just the baking section, or maybe the gluten-free section. I think it's in like the healthy, like where you get your superfoods, like your maca and your acai and your matcha green tea. It's a little superfood section right there in Walmart. Okay, next is 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. If you followed my kitchen, you know I prefer pink Himalayan sea salt. My family would just keep it in a crock pot, a little crock next to the stove because we use it all the time. 1/4 teaspoon salt. Ding ding, last but not least, we're gonna go baking powder, 2 teaspoons. Now, I did not tell you, and maybe you want to do this too, set your oven to 325. So let me get mine started. 325. Here we go. I'm gonna do that 2 teaspoons baking powder. It's gonna create a little magic and create little like air bubbles to have like the actual look of bread. You know, bread's a little like airy looking. So that's gonna help out there. What you might also wanna do to prep, I did before you got here, was you're getting an 8x4 or 8.5 by 4.5 pan. It doesn't look so big, but I'll tell you, this bread is dense. You're lining it with parchment paper, and I pressed it into all corners, folded it around. That saves you time from greasing and flouring. So one extra step easier than your regular bread recipes. You got that prepped. So with all the dried ingredients, I'm just gonna give it a couple pulses so it's blended. There we go. Easy enough? Easy enough. Next, I'm gonna add in butter. This is a 1/3 cup butter. What this is 5 tablespoons plus 1/3 of a tablespoon, a teaspoon. 5 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon melted butter. I whipped that through the microwave real quick before you got here. Let me just get a spatula so I can get all the butter in. What I like to do is make a little divot, and this is up to you how you like to do it, around the corner so that the butter doesn't get all the way to the edge and stay there, or all the way close to the blade and stay there. So I kind of create a little like moat, a little moat in the dough. And what we're doing is just pulsing until it gets a little crumbly looking, like a dough. Little, kind of like a biscuit batter. You know how it gets a little balled up. I'll show it to you. You may want to take your spatula, because I see that my butter got up the side. Take it down. Yes. And take her again for a couple more spins. Pulse, 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 pulse. There we go. I'm going to show it to you, and you'll see what I mean. It's just work together. Kind of crumbly. Yeah. So that's it, right? Smell it. You can't wait to smell it, Amy. I'll tell you what. So what I was afraid of was that it would be too sweet because of the coconut flour, and shockingly, it is not. I call it sandwich bread. I'm going to get to that later. Rather than, hey, let's grab a piece of toast. But I'm going to warn you, even though my preference would be a sandwich bread because I find it makes it more masterful, my son just keeps asking for slice after slice. And he's not eating it toasted or buttered. He just wants to eat it. So is that cool for my little baby? Absolutely. Is my baby going into ketosis? Absolutely not. But he's getting a load of healthy fats, healthy proteins, and no grain and gluten. I mean, isn't that so much better than handing him a piece of white bread, which makes your sugar spike more than a Snickers bar? I'm telling you what. So even if you need to watch out for your blood sugars, you don't need to be on a keto diet to eat keto bread. You need to be mindful and know that you don't want sugar spike. Sugar spike means no weight loss, means future borderline diabetic. So let's talk, some science and health here. You would choose this bread for the sake of healthy option. Okay, so that's there. It's ready. I'm going to pop it right back on here. I think so. There we go. That, I'm just going to scrape this guy off. So all the dough's inside. I dropped a piece of dough. It's going back in. Rock and roll. Next step is egg whites. This is why it's beautiful. It's literally like so many eggs in here. If you were going to do real eggs, I don't know, you need 1.5 cups of egg whites. I do the cage-free, whoops, where is that? Cage-free, 100% egg whites. What's in here? Egg whites. There's no preservative. There's nothing else. A carton of egg whites is about $4, cage-free, at Walmart. So, I don't know. It's easily in here about 4 to 5 cups of egg whites. Cool? Then you don't have to waste all the egg yolk. And it's done for you. So what I've done, I did a little bit of whipping before you got here because it does take a little time to get the egg whites stiff. I added 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Cream of tartar? Say it for me. Cream of tartar. I feel better. Saying it with a little sass. Say everything with a little sass. And you want your egg whites at room temperature. Let me move some things. And I did a little bit of whipping before you got here and got it started. But it's not ready yet because I wanted to do it on camera too, but I just didn't need you sitting here for an extra minute in the noisiness. So I'm just going to whip it. Pardon the sound. Once you stop it, you see this little peak? Whoop, see my double peaks? Once you stop the blender, the little thing, you're gonna stop it so it's not still spinning because you don't want to spray yourself with the egg whites. But you're gonna pull it out, and if it leaves a peak, you know, look how firm that is. You know you've done it. Okay, so egg whites are done. What's happening now? What's Amy gonna say? Walmart is stepping up their game. I know, especially in Asheville. I mean, they have to if they want to compete to the other markets because everyone here is so health conscious. So I'm not going to speak for all Walmarts, but I do know Asheville has stepped it up for their Walmart here. Okay, so we're going to do half of this into the food processor. Got it? So I'm just going to cut it in half so I can kind of see a monitor of how that is. That looks like about half to me. Cool. Okay, so that's in the food processor now. And let's get this buddy rocking. We do not want to overmix. We're going to pulse again, just until mixed, okay? I got little egg whites here. Whoa, I just flipped you off. I'm so sorry. That was with love. That was just an egg white. What? What is going on in here? Okay, pulse it. Egg white it. Getting that just blended. I can see a little bit of the dough at this corner is not really catching. So that might be the time that I personally, I don't want to overmix, so I'm going to catch it quickly, snag that spatula, and get that, I don't know what's happening on this side since I didn't turn it around. I'm just going to give it a little scrape, and then literally just pulse a couple more times. I don't want to overwork the dough. Pulse, that's good for me. All right, now we're taking the food processor dough out. Not too bad of a process, right? Pretty easy. Taking this puppy out. Whoop. Here we go. Oops, I'm toasting this puppy too to show you what's up. Sure thought I was. Toasting this puppy. Guess my toaster's gonna decide to work for me. Here we go. Now you see this dough? Pretty sticky, just mixed. Now I'm gonna fold it, do not stir, fold it into the egg whites. Here we go, make a little space here. Super easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And the rest is done for you. The rest happens in the oven, so not terrible. When you're talking about making homemade bread, it's always a process. So this process I find to be rather easy. So we're just gonna fold this in together while I talk to you about why I think it's more of a sandwich bread. Number one, I want to teach you open-faced sandwiches are the way to eat any sandwich, whether you're eating keto bread or sourdough. Sourdough is the only other bread we'll eat because it's pre-fermented gluten. So a little healthier on the gut. If you are going to eat a bread, go for sourdough. So here I am. I'm just folding. You see this action? Fold, fold, fold. Not stir. So I'll scrape the sides, get the egg whites down until you don't see a lot. You see how right now it's very separated? It's like chunks of dough with a little egg white. You want it to all look like one consistent batter. It's almost like a batter more than it is a dough because it's very loose. The egg whites are going to do magic. It keeps it fluffy. I'm going to show you. I say it's a sandwich bread because to me, although if you are like toasted butter kind of person, my stepdad likes it just toasted with butter. My husband has been eating it just toasted with butter. Me personally, it doesn't cut it that way. I like to have even a little butter with a little piece, of hard cheese or something on it to make it more like sandwichy. So I think it's a compliment to more of a sandwich. All right, do you see this? Do you see how mixed it is? It looks like one unified dough batter. I don't know what you call it. Keto batter. Here we go. We're gonna drop her in. See if there's a little, no, you just want no big streaks of egg white. I don't turn the light on in the kitchen or it'll white out my face. So it's a little hard to see in here, it's a little darker. So I'm just gonna make sure I get everything in, scrape that bowl. Here we go. So I'm gonna teach you the trick, what to do in the oven. You do want it on center rack, okay? And when you're putting it in the little bin, however you shape it is the way it's going to bake. So if I leave it all lumpy, it's gonna come out all lumpy. So I'm just gonna take my little spatula, smooth it out, and I'm keeping it raised in the middle, like a little hill. So it's got the nice shape of risen bread, okay? How cool is that? Popping it in the oven. Middle rack. Echo. Set timer, 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Starting now.
Okay, I had to change her name from Alexa because my son's name's Axel and she's always saying, what do you want? I'm like, I'm not talking to you. So we changed her name. Okay, 40 minutes. When that timer goes off, you're going to get aluminum foil and tent. Tent, it still has airway. Tent above, so I just make a little teepee above the bread, clamp it on so it's not touching the bread even. I know people are like, eek, don't touch aluminum to your food. So we're just gonna tent it because it's gonna get nice and brown on top with this baking cycle of 40 minutes. we tent it, put it back in for another 35, max 40 minutes. You'll test it out. If you have a thermometer at home, your internal bread temperature would be 200 degrees. Why am I saying this? Well, there's a bunch of egg in there. I mean, a bunch of egg. So you don't want to undercook the bread. It stores so nicely in the refrigerator. And when you're done and you've taken it out of the oven, you want it to completely cool in its pan. And then you pull the paper out, open it up, and you have beautiful, do you see this? Beautiful bread. Okay, so it has this very, very tiny touch of coconut scent to it with that coconut flour. I like mine toasted. This one actually just came out of the toaster. And today I'm topping mine off with some homemade tuna salad. Now this tuna salad, I was playing around with my basil in the garden. So it is good. I think all I'm missing is a little tomato, but I made zesty, maybe it's zesty, I don't know, lemon basil cucumber tuna salad. It is so good and zippy. I even put lemon zest in it. So super refreshing and this bread holds up. It is not overly dry, overly crumbly. It's that mixture of eggs and xanthan gum that really keeps it held together. You see this? Bam, 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 bam. Not all keto bread holds up. It falls apart easily. A lot of gluten-free baking falls apart easily. So bravo to this keto bread here. Hopefully this recipe served you. I know what I'm eating for lunch. And if this served you, you share it to your wall. Someone else could benefit from this same recipe. If you're not on my email list, you'll get on it. I'll post the link below. And I'll see you here next Wednesday as well. You can also check me out on Instagram at GetKJFit. Thank you so much for being here today, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Happy Wellness Wednesday, everybody.